Hello, I'm Romy of English Rose Vintage, and this is the second part of the two-part series which I've done on making Simplicity 8447. This bit is going to be all about the sewing, so it's going to take you through the stages from making up the darts right through to the finishing off. Hope you enjoy it. So now that I've cut out the whole pattern and I've added it onto my denim, it's cut out the whole bit there, I now need to transfer these markings onto the fabric itself. So there's a few different ways that you can do that. You can either use tracing paper and go over it with a tracing wheel, which leaves a bit of a print on the fabric itself. You can use tailor's tacks, which is where you get a piece of thread and just basically stitch through both pieces of your fabric, and that leaves a little line for you to follow. I'm a bit lazy, so I tend not to do that. I just basically get a couple of pins, pop that into the point of the dart, just like that, push that through, and then on the other side pull that through. And then I'll do the same for either side here, and then the same on the other side, and then when I pull it apart I've basically got pins in place which I can then fold in half and make the dart measurements. So I'll show you that. So here I am starting to sew the darts. I always start my darts from the top and work down to the point, as you can see on the video here. And when I get to the end of the point, once I've got right to the edge, snip the threads and tie the knot about 3 or 4 times. And there's your first dart done. You can see a nice neat line, and then if I just open that up, you'll see there's a good line there with no puckering at the end of the dart. And once that's pressed, that'll be lovely and flat. The next step of the pattern is to sew the inside legs. As you can see, I'm just doing that now, finishing it right to the edge and doing that on both sides. Now onto the crotch seams, just sewing the front at the centre front and the back at the centre back. Now you can see that the pants are coming together pretty well. I've stitched all the innards down at the crotch seam here, and I've stitched the inside leg. So we've now just got each outside leg open, the pockets on. And so the next part is to stitch fully down this right hand side, and then to the dot which I've marked on the inside, I need to stitch to there, and then I can add in the facings ready to put the buttons on. So I'm getting on pretty well with the trousers so far. I managed to stitch up everything, pockets on, side seams are done, crotch seams are done. They fit really well. I've already tried them on just to make sure. Next up is on to doing the closing, which is done with buttons. I haven't quite decided which buttons I'm going to use yet. I've got a couple of vintage ones that I want to use, but I've also seen some really pretty mustard coloured ones from the Swagman's daughter. I'll pop a tag on the video just below, who does amazing vintage buttons. I think I might have to purchase them and add some ones that I've already got in my inventory already to these, just to get them finished, and then when they arrive change them over. So next I need to now do the interfacing. So this is pattern piece 3, which you can see there, which is cut on the bias, and this is the facing. This is going on the inside here, but first I need to add interfacing to it, which is a stabiliser to this, and while I'm doing that I'm also going to add the interfacing to the waistband as well, so I'm going to get on with that now. now I need to apply the front facing, which I've just overlocked around the edges, to the front part of the left side seam, so you can see the difference. So the right side seam has already been done up, the left side seam is the one which is open. So the facing's all stitched on, and the next step is to add the waistband to the trousers, which you can see me doing now. With the waistband now on, it's time to start finishing, so I'm just sewing on the buttons here now by hand with the same thread that I've used to sew the trousers. So I've stitched on all the buttons. As you can see there, I've got these lovely 1930s vintage brown buttons, which I went for in the end, and I've marked where my buttonholes need to be. So with this being quite a thick denim, my automatic buttonholer doesn't really fit around it and isn't really working, so I'm just using my standard presser foot just to do a manual buttonhole, and you can do this just by marking out where the buttonholes need to be. So that's all the buttonholes done, measuring up to the size that I need them to be and being in the right place. Now I need to cut through them. I'm going to do that with the buttonhole chisel. It's really sharp. Got this off Amazon, I think it was about £5, really helpful. You can also get a circular one, which is good for making belts, which does the tiny little holes that you need to get the belt buckle through. I'll just add here that usually it's good to get a cutting mat underneath it so that you don't damage your table underneath, but this is a very old table, so I'm not too bothered about it. That is pretty much the trousers done. All I need to do now is hem them. I'm going to try them on first just so I can get the length of the trousers where I need them to be. These have got a little bit of a turn up on, so it needs to be a little bit longer than it would in a normal pair of trousers so that you can then turn it back on itself. So I'm going to get my husband to help me to do that because it can be a little bit difficult fitting trousers on your own. And then I'll show you the finished result. So here is one of the final try-ons. Fitting me really well, very happy with how they fit. I've finished the buttonholes down the side, little pocket on the left, and then all I need to do is finish the turn-ups and I am done. One pair of jeans. That's been my completed 1940s high-waisted jeans that I've made from Simplicity 8447. Hope you've enjoyed watching. If you've got any questions, please feel free to drop me a DM, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Bye.